Thank you for tuning into this episode of Sticky News Podcast. Sorry, T's not in studio today. She's helping her mom. She's got some stuff going on right now. She had a little surgery in her foot, but I think she's gonna be okay. She's a soldier. Hope you're feeling better, Miss Beth. Don't call her Miss Liz. And I have some really good news that a friend of mine told me. So, I'm going to, we're going to talk about him in the podcast coming up, but he has an album that's going to be coming out this summer, and I want everybody to pay attention and look out for this album. It's going to be called Redundancy. The meaning of redundancy is love returned in full, or the act of loving in return. Pretty dope. And I'm looking forward to it. You guys, please look out for this album. I'm gonna get into this episode, but I had to put this in the beginning of the episode because I want everybody to go and get this album when it comes out. I appreciate you guys. Jamal, we rooting for you. I know I'm rooting for you. And thank you guys for tuning in to Sticky Notes Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of
Sticky Notes Podcast.
And first and foremost, just want to give a get well out there to one of our favorite listeners. She had to have surgery. We're talking about TEASE mom.
My mom. We had an episode with her.
Yes.
Miss Elizabeth. Miss Liz, don't call her Beth.
Yeah, Miss Beth, don't call her Miss Liz. Yeah. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you feel better. I know you're having a little bit of a tough time, but you're gonna truck through this. And I heard you took my advice on getting that little scooter, so that's what's up. Nothing crazy. She had foot surgery, but we're thinking about you. All right. Today's episode, we're gonna kind of give a brief overview on a whole everything that's going on in this country. Like, we started this podcast to cover everything that's going on and to give everybody our point of view, what's really happening behind the scenes, what we think is really going on behind the scenes with everything wrapped up, because it kind of seems like everything is tied in. So okay, so
I don't know any of these topics, so I'm finding out as we go.
Yeah, you don't know. I wanted to get her. Don't be looking at my notes.
I'm not even looking.
I wanted to get her, her reaction, because sometimes we talk about things and she says stuff that I know could be really nice on the podcast. I'm like, man, she should have saved that for the podcast. So I wanted to talk about Trump pardoning people.
Yeah, he pardoned quite a few people recently.
Yeah, but what is this purpose behind pardoning people, and who are some of the people that he pardoned? Like, I know the most recent one that he did was Larry Hoover. So that's been in the news or whatever, but the guy's still in jail. So what was the purpose of pardoning?
He pardoned two of the people that he pardoned were Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley. They had a TV show, which I actually was a fan of them. I'm not mad at this pardon because
that show is so annoying.
No, yeah, okay, listen. First of all, their daughter who went to the White House and was preaching for them to be pardoned. She's a big reason why they were pardoned.
Were they criminals?
They committed tax fraud, but the sentencing that they got, I felt, was way too long.
What do you mean?
Because they got longer sentences than child predators and
how many years?
The R word.
How many years did they get? You know what? I'm not trying to hear that, because if they were just the average person, they're gonna have to do the time. Just because.
Well, they actually got their sentence reduced a little bit.
Just because you had an annoying TV show.
No, I'm glad they got pardoned.
Why?
Yeah, they committed a crime, but there's
people
that get caught up with marijuana that get longer time than they did.
They're free?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And Todd, he did a press conference where he was talking about how.
Of course he did.
He got privileges in jail that black people didn't
get. I'm
get.
Sure he was getting plenty privileges in there.
He was just letting it be known how black people are treated, how they're treated in jail compared to white people that are treated in jail.
Okay, so now, all right. So
But he's always been pro-black because he has a black granddaughter.
Right. Yeah, so he was okay. Yeah, whatever. I'm not trying to hear that. That guy should be behind bars. I don't care. Because if it was me, or if it was Hector from down the street, or Jerome, they'd be behind bars.
Well, they got a pardon, and like you said, Larry Hoover got a pardon, but he's not a free man.
Yeah,
so
he's just not no regular Joe Schmo either. So, wonder why did he get pardoned?
I don't know, but why is he still in jail? So explain that.
The guy had 6 life convictions, right? Like,
what did he pardon? His federal thing?
I guess, but I guess he still had state charges, and that's Anyway, like, why?
Trump also pardoned NBA YoungBoy, which I thought was the most random thing ever.
For why?
I don't know. It seems like Trump will pardon people that are pro-Trump.
He's trying to get votes for his party, I believe.
Maybe.
Pardoning all these random people.
He said he would consider pardoning Diddy if he gets convicted. He said he's going to look at all the evidence.
Didn't he say that he used to love, like, Diddy used to love Trump? He used to love me.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, anybody that is, like, pro-Trump, he'll pardon you in a sec.
I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not pro anybody, to be fair. This damn country. Like this, that's why I wanted to talk. That's why I wanted to talk today, because and I didn't want to just talk about Almighty Suspect, No Jumper, all that. I didn't want to talk about that because that's all that stuff is a distraction, and I don't want to feed into the distraction. I don't want to be a part of the distraction for a view.
Okay, the truth is,
I want to talk about how we feel about different things. Like, I was just talking to my homie JAMALL Anthony, who is going to sing God Bless America on Father's Day in Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Phillies, which is pretty cool. And that's a really huge accomplishment. He's from this area, from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and he's out there in California, and he's
super talented.
He wrote a lot of songs. He collaborated in writing songs for Jordan Sparks, Chris Brown, and a bunch of other people. So he's really talented. So I want to talk about people like that came from nothing, and now he's doing big things. He's shout out to JAMALL, my guy. He's gonna be out there Father's Day, so if you can make it there in Philly for the Phillies, the tickets I saw, I think the cheapest one was like $80-something or something like that.
Okay.
But go out, show some love, you know what I mean? So little stuff like that gets lost in the wind when we talk about No Jumper, Rat 100. We talk about stuff like that. Like we don't talk about JAMALL, my guy. I was gonna say something about what's going on at my job, right?
No, we're not talking about that.
No, we're not gonna talk about that. But it was funny because Bob came in and he's like, "So I wanted to, everybody's gonna be asking, like, what were you talking about?" I'm like, "Bob, I can't talk about it."
You can't talk about it, but you announce it on a podcast.
Yeah, I like that. I like doing that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Keeping people thinking. But what I wanted to talk about is like how the average person, this economy is built that the average person, unless you make 6 figures, you won't be able to make it if you have a rental property, if you're renting something, or if you have a mortgage or something. You can't survive with the cost of mortgage payment, electric bill, food, which sometimes people sacrifice food. You can't have cable.
There needs to be a federal minimum wage. They're leaving it all up to the states. Like in California, it's $20. Here in PA, I believe it's still $7, which is crazy. I was making that when I had my first job over 10 years ago, and it still hasn't changed.
Don't we pay federal taxes?
We pay federal and state.
Man, And then, these jobs, they're smart, They pay you minimum wage, and then they'll reward you with like gift cards to their stores.
They'll reward you with a pizza party.
Yeah.
Pizza in the conference room.
This country is kind of crazy. So what country would you live in if you had a choice to live in a country? Where would you go? Would you stay here?
No.
Since you've been to China.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides China, I know you don't want to go back there. But
I would go visit. I would live there if it wasn't communist.
yeah, if it wasn't communist, but it is. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful country, and it's easy. It's easy to live there. It's affordable to live there. I was making more money over there at the time than what I was making back here. I could afford all my bills and have money left over. It was great. But if I had to go anywhere, I want to go visit Bali. I like to go somewhere that's more slow paced, a slower way of life. It's affordable. It's not stressful,
Isn't I heard it was like nice to live in England or something.
Depends which
Don't
country.
you got family? You got family in different countries. Where's
He
your
lives
cousin?
in Brussels, but the UK, they have their own problems.
The UK, the United Kingdom.
That's
Brit-
the whole.
Great Britain.
I believe so, but
Okay.
they have their own problems. I'm not trying. I'm not. Why would I leave America? Like, there's some places in Europe that I think would be cool to live, like Portugal. That's by the water.
How's their economy? Is it similar to the United States? I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you these questions.
Where would you live?
I mean, I've only been on the East Coast of the United States. So.
But if you could go anywhere, where would you want to go?
Where would I want to go to live?
Yeah.
I'd have to do some research, but from what I hear, it's good to live over in like England.
No, they have their own problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what kind of problems? They don't have any guns over there, right?
They do, but there's a lot of stabbings, attacks. Like almost everybody has
they
a
don't
knife.
have any guns though, right?
But their stabbing attacks are pretty much the same as our gun attacks. But you can have a gun over there. It's just not legal like how it is over here.
Oh, okay.
I think the English countryside, I would live in the English countryside, but they have their economy problems, immigration problems, politic problems, just like we do.
Who are your cousins over there listening overseas?
That's my Uncle David.
Okay, Uncle Dave. What's up, Uncle
and
Dave?
My cousin Sue and Josephine.
Hey, all you guys. How you guys doing? Hope to meet you guys soon. We're going to meet you guys soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
My Uncle David is coming.
Okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, we got to take these times, we're going to take a break from all the stuff that's going on and give a shout out to our listeners. We appreciate you guys, followers getting up there, views getting up there. But yeah.
Would you go to North Korea? North Korea recently opened its borders for influencers.
What?
To go over there, but it's closed now.
What is it?
North Korea opened up their borders so influencers could go there and document, and everyththing's fake. Like they had a fake restaurant, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's closed now. You can't do that. But
that'd be cool.
There's in South
Go
Korea.
over there and infiltrate.
In South Korea, you can go to the border of North Korea, and you can put like 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
They gonna shoot that damn foot. King Jong-un gonna push a button, your foot gonna explode. Boom! So, shout out to all our followers. Thank you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of
Sticky Notes Podcast.
Gotta be quicker than that.
We have a call for an armed robbery.
Nobody wanna see me getting paid, but nobody wanna see me getting paid, but